Good morning. It is a quiet, foggy morning around here. So we've got some corn to haul. I think that's the first thing on the agenda, but I don't know if we want to do it in the fog, so I'll take a minute, wait for everybody to get around here, and we'll make a plan. And the boys have a 2-hour delay this morning. They may end up not having school, and I may have to go get them. But we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Well, this fog is going to be a problem because we don't really want to have the trucks on the road in this fog. It's pretty thick, and I've gotten the notification that the boys don't have school. So I'm going to go get them, which is slightly against my better judgment, driving in the fog, but it is what it is. Better in a pickup than a semi. So, yeah, it's going to delay things here this morning. I don't know if we're going to make it to Berkey to shell corn today or not. We'll see how things go. I imagine we've got at least 4, if not 6 loads of corn that need to get hauled out, and then we can finish drying the wet corn that we've got here at Waldron to have that stuff all buttoned up. But yeah, we'll get there. It's just going to be a little while. There's a stop sign up here. There it is. It's been worse, but it's pretty foggy. How we doing, boys?
Good.
No school today, huh?
No.
Second day in a row?
Yeah.
You get to hang out with me?
Yeah.
Is that good or bad?
Good.
Oh, yeah. One bad, one good. All right. Now that we're done, almost done drying corn, I think it's safe to get my truck washed, or at least be a little bit better. Oh, this is a fancy, colorful car wash. Now we got purple. Now we can almost tell that it's gonna be clean. Is that cool?
Yeah, look at our window.
It's gonna get you, Brayson. The spinner. Oh yeah, much better. Oh, it's so much cleaner. Nice. All right, time for a haircut. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. All right, we are finally making it back to the farm. It's after 11 now. The fog is lifting. It's still foggy, but it's lifting. John Deere dealer's here working on our 9R. Dad was having some ECU codes, something with the engine there, so hopefully they'll get that fixed. I imagine I'm going to jump in a truck and haul some corn here now. All right. Phil's hauling corn. We're going to haul a load of corn in here, and Brayson's going to stay with Grandpa, help him clean up some leaves. Dad did get a little spraying done. Brock is disking today, so we are getting some stuff done.
Brock is disking?
Yep. He's in the 8430 with the disc. I just don't know that we're going to make it to Berkey today to shell corn. We'll see. We gotta get enough corn hauled out so we can finish drying what's in the wet bin. So we might as well work on that right now. Loading up for our second trip. Phil's working on his second one. The fog is pretty well gone, so that's good. Hopefully this will be the last one. We'll get the dryers fired back up and get that bin empty. I did get a question about why don't we dry it back into that bin and refill it, which it would be nice to have that one full of dry corn as well, but the logistics of doing that are very, very difficult. Because that's our wet bin, that's the one that's feeding the dryer. So anytime the dryer calls for wet corn, it turns on the auger for that bin to refill it. Now we can turn that off, but then we have to fill it manually with wet corn coming out of the trucks, most likely, because that's the only other place we could have it. And so you have to watch it really close. And we have the wet corn in there. So how do we get the wet corn out of there to be able to get it empty and dry into it? You can't just put dry corn on top of the wet, because the way these bins empty when you pull out of the center sump is it's actually pulling from the top right down through the middle and then out, and you would never get the wet corn out of the bottom trying to put dry corn right back in on top. It would just start circulating that dry corn. So we basically have to get that bin empty. Now we can empty the dryer once we're done and we got dry corn in there that we need to get it empty. We can put that back in there, so we'll have a little bit of dry corn, but that bin won't be full when we're done here. It's just no good way to do that. You know, the only other thing or best way to do it, if we really wanted to do it, would have been to get it empty and then actually use our top dry, suck out of there and put it into that bin and fill it, and then we would have had to dry it batch by batch through the top dry. But again, we'd had to take the wet corn right out of the trucks, and well, too late for that now. Doing that would have slowed the last day of harvest down dramatically, probably stretched it into 2 days. So we're done this way. We got plenty of corn around. Trust me, we got lots of corn.
Daddy, is that one full? The first one?
The first spot, we got to pull ahead and keep filling it up. Just dumped our second trip here. The trucks are all stopping today because, well, one of the local banks decided to cook lunch for all the farmers today. So we stopped and got some the first trip around. I'm not much for the whole thank you farmers campaign, but let's be honest, we the farmers in the area do a lot of business with that particular bank, and a little cooking us lunch once a year. Yeah, that's it's more of a patronage bonus kind of thing.
Mama's sign.
Mama's sign. There's a big water tower over there, and it has an M on it.
And it's blue for Mama's color.
It's blue for Mama, and she always said that it had an M for Mama, huh? Alright, Phil just loaded up. He's taking another load out of the overhead, so it's almost empty right now. And Grayson, be very careful. Don't go by that, okay? When I come over here to the left end and I stand up here and I reach, oh, not there. It's empty. It's right there. So there's some wet corn in there, but not very much. So it'll all fit up there pretty easily. We're just going to kind of watch it and wait for it to run out of wet corn and then shut the dryer off for the year. We have a couple of parts that we needed for the new dryer burner down to Berkey that we found we needed them when we were doing beans down there, and we haven't had a chance to get them yet. So Dad and Rylan are going to go get those parts, and tomorrow we're going to go to Berkey. We aren't going to make it there today. So the other thing that I've got going on here this afternoon is parent-teacher conferences with the boys' teachers. So we got to go do that later. The auger has gone to rattling. I opened the slide up all the way. There's not much left in there. I think we can even open the door up. Yeah, good deal. All right. And we're done. Wet corn dry. So we do still have a lot of corn in the dryer itself. I let it run until it shut off because it ran out of wet corn, so it'll go 10 minutes and then it shuts itself off. The burner's off. We're just letting the fans cool it down a little bit. We'll have to empty that out of there and put it into the bin or haul it out or something. It said it was 16.5, the corn coming in there at the end, the stuff on the very bottom of the wet bin. So I'm not real concerned about the corn still being in there wet. We'll probably let it set. I don't know, maybe Phil will deal with it today. Maybe we'll let it set till we're done shelling down to Berkey and worry about it then. But yeah, we're done. Oh, it's so nice. I just shut the generator down. 2,197.2 engine hours on here. Somebody asked when I did the little grain system tour video a week or two ago, how many hours we put on our generator in a year. And well, we can figure that out now because we are done for the year. And Phil keeps meticulous records, so we can go in there and look and see how many we had when we started. And I can answer that. Looks like on 9/28 we had 1,851 engine hours. 8/25 we're at 180 or 1,842. This would have been very close to the start. Say that's at 1,851, and what did I say we were at? 2,190 something. So that is 346 hours for the fall. Now we will have to use that generator to get the corn out of the bins. Now we can take a lot out the side draw on the big bin, but the 2 bins right here and then what doesn't come out the side draw on the big one have to all come out through the overhead, so we have to run the generator to get it there. So it will see a fair bit more hours throughout the year, but it's 20 minutes or half an hour at a time filling the overhead in small increments, and it really doesn't add up to that many. So but yeah, that's where we're at. As far as fuel usage, he's got it all written down here. I'd have to do a lot of math to add it up, but I think we were burning about 4 gallons an hour, so do the math on that. Looking through his notes there and some quick math on 1 or 2 of the fills combined, which is just a short number of hours, looks like closer to 5 gallons an hour of fuel through it. So yeah, it's costing us something more than what the power company would, but in the long run it's cheaper because of the initial cost of $250,000 plus the demand charges and the higher electrical rates that we would be paying year-round, not just in the fall when we're storing or moving grain and using the generator a lot. So anyway, that's that. What are you doing, bud? You need to measure that grate. You need my help to hold it.
From there, I'm supposed to make it from there, from here.
I don't think it'll make it all the way across there, but I'll hold it for you.
Right there.
Okay, go. Gonna make it? What number does it say? 277. I think you can go a little farther.
Oh.
What number's in the triangle?
What is your triangle? There is.
What number?
There's 6 and 7 and 2 triangle.
6, a 7, and a 2.
And triangle.
I don't think that's right.
There's a 3. Yeah, there's a 6 and a 7 and a 2. Not on the triangle.
What's in the triangle?
Okay, there's a 3 and a 2.
23. It's 2 and a 3. You got 2 more feet you can go.
2 more feet? I can't do it.
Too hard? It's about as far as it goes. Okay, good job. All right, came down to the seed warehouse here because we got a few minutes to kill. Picking up some signs and putting them back. Look at all the flies. Oh my goodness. What is going on? Crazy, huh, Brayson? Are all the windows that way?
Maybe there's 1 and 1 and 1. Maybe they went under the crack of the door and they made it inside.
Maybe. I think they're all over the ceiling too. I can hear them buzzing and hitting the roof. They are. Look at that. That's crazy. Let's see. See them all? Wow. Anyway, we've got some cleaning up to do in here. I need to get this conveyor taken out back and put it in the barn at the farm there. We need to get the floor swept up, move those pallets out of the way. I would prefer to get that seed tender out of here because we got seed coming soon. I've had a couple of calls about delivering stuff, and I've asked them to give me 2 weeks to get done with harvest and figure stuff out for sure. But I would say before the end of the month, we're going to have a fair bit of seed in here. So we got to get ready for that and make a plan for the year on what we're going to do, how we're going to do it. I want to fold up these boxes that we're done with so they take up less space. We need to winterize our treater, which is basically done. I just need to make sure everything's drained and take the hoses apart at the pumps and stuff. We're going to put new hoses on there anyway, just clean stuff up a little bit. But yeah, it should be okay. There might be a little bit of chemical left in the bottom there. Yeah, just a tiny little bit. So we need to get the wheat keg taken back to the farm because that can't really freeze. There's very, very little in it. Just a tiny little bit at the bottom there. So we'll keep that till next year and buy another keg, or probably 2 kegs next year, because I went through 1 3/4 or 1 2/3, I guess, kegs this year, and we'll probably be more next year. All right, I had to clean up a little bit in here. My in-laws need all of my tables. I have a collection of those white tables that I have used for field days and stuff in the past that they're having an event next weekend. Need them, so I was getting them all. They're all in the lean-to over there and getting that stuff ready. I have to go because since we're not shelling corn, I'm not in Berkey. Today is kids Parent-teacher conferences. I think I already told you that. I know I have. Did I say it in the video? I think so. Your teacher's going to tell us all the naughty things you've been doing.
I've been naughty.
Oh, yeah. Probably more your brother than you, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, since I'm available to go to that, I'm gonna go to that.
It'll fall off.
I'm not gonna leave it there. Just closing the tailgate, and Brayson's gonna go with me. So we'll check in with you guys when I get back. All right. Well, not much else going on at the farm. Dad had Rylan cleaning up leaves, and they got our parts that we need for that dryer. So that is good. And going home for the night. It's 5. Oh, it's 6 o'clock now, but still, that's nice. Early night, so we're gonna make some dinner, and we're gonna go shell corn in the morning. We are all set up and ready to go in the morning, and hopefully we'll have a big day up there, or down there at Berkey, getting started. So thanks for watching today. If you have any questions, comments, leave them down below. Hit that like and subscribe button. Questions, comments, yes. We'll talk to you later. Bye. A couple more things before we wrap this one up I wanted to talk about. Going back to yesterday's video where we did the pinch row compaction study there. Number one, I forgot to go back and tell you why I think rows 1 and 16 are worse. Both last year and this year, they were off pace. This year was off, I think it was 10 bushel. Last year it was like 30 or something. And so why is that? Why are those outside rows where there is a planter tire on one side of the row, but nothing on the other side yielding so much less? Well, I have a theory, and I can't prove it exactly, but when we side dress our corn, we use a 15 shank applicator, right? And so that outside row only gets nitrogen on one side of it. Every other row, there's nitrogen on both sides. The outside one only gets nitrogen on one side. On the other side, the side between the planter passes, it doesn't get any nitrogen. Now we're putting a heavy rate on there. We're putting a rate and a half, 1.5 times what we're normally, or the other rows get on that one, but I don't think it's really a rate and a half. I think it's more so a 3/4 rate on the outside row and a rate and a quarter on the inside row. So it kind of helps that one on the inside do a little bit better, and the one on the outside does a little bit worse, and that is a problem. But they don't make a 17 shank applicator like we have, which is what you would need. You put a half rate on the row between the planter passes, and then when you turn around, it would go right back down the same row and put another half rate on. So that's an issue. It's not an easily solvable one. It's something that as I continue to tweak our nitrogen program with maybe putting more on with the planter, maybe doing some with the sprayer, maybe doing some wide drop stuff, we could lessen the impact, but I'm not going to get away from that until we get away from anhydrous, which is unlikely to happen anytime soon. Number two, I know that the planter tractor is not my only source of compaction. I'm well aware of that. But that's the variable that I could control here. And we are using the same tractor for that side dress pass as well. So it's also reducing compaction in that application, which we were not last year with using the 8R. We had that duals and those pinch row effects still. So that's part of it. But yes, our combine is compacting the ground. Our grain cart, even though it's on tracks, is compacting the ground. Our sprayer, and that's a variable that I don't know whether or not that particular pass that we did yesterday was inside of a sprayer track. That was something I thought of today, that maybe that is why rows 6 and 11 were a little bit worse, is because it was a sprayer track, and if Dad got off the row just a little bit, maybe he ran down one of those rows in rows 6 and 11 but didn't hit it on the other side, and that would have caused a problem, even if it was just a short distance that he did that. So that could be part of our variable there. I also know that the tank that I am pulling is causing a lot of compaction, but what the difference is and what I was really trying to evaluate is that pinch row, right? So with the duals on the 8R, there's a row that runs between those tires, and there's compaction, heavy compaction on both sides of that row. With the 8RX, everything is in one track. There's no row that has tractor tires on both sides of it, okay? And that tank runs in the same track as the tractor tracks, and so it's still not a pinch row. So compaction, yes, absolutely. That's why I expected rows 6 and 11 and 7 and 10 to be a lower yield than the rows next to those. But I expected them to be fairly even, and they weren't. So Anyway, just wanted to clarify that stuff. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the morning.